Hi, everybody. Erica here from In the Company of Cards. If you're new, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back and happy Juneteenth. Um, I think this will be brief. I have a reading that I have to do coming up, but I wanted to come on today just to look at a couple of issues. I hope everybody got to watch at least some of the opening of the Obama Presidential Center yesterday. It was amazing, and I think it was sort of the lifting up that we all needed to see all of those presidents coming there to honor him and to hear the music and just uh, see the enthusiasm and to remember that once upon a time um, when we thought all things were possible. Okay. So, but I'm sure I'll be talking more about Juneteenth, more about the 4th, in the context of Juneteenth, but I'll do that at another date. So apparently, the felons' peace plan has fallen apart. The memorandum of agreement, or whatever it was, yeah, something like that, has fallen apart. Of course, Vance is going to be blamed for it, and if you've heard some of the rhetoric from the Republican side, it looks like Vance is going to be blamed, which was, of course, the felon's intention. Um, and we have the Israeli National Security Minister saying that Lebanon must burn. And if you recall, one of the points of this agreement with Iran was that all hostilities would cease, including Israel's hostilities against Lebanon. Now, this foreign minister, I mean, national security minister, is a very right-wing guy. So there are a lot of Israelis who think that even, that he's gone too far. Nevertheless, it's a little bit of a fly in the felon's ointment. There's a lot of flies in this ointment, obviously, in terms of why this thing fell apart. It's not bad that it fell apart because, we came away with nothing. It was a far worse agreement than the one that was in place before the felon got rid of it, the one that was penned under Obama. So, I mean, back to the drawing board. What I would like to know is now that there's this cooling off of affection between the felon and the Israeli prime minister, I would like to know what's the next thing that will happen. Neither man is happy with the other one, and one holds a lot of leverage over the other. We know that the felon said that if it weren't for him and the US, uh, Israel would not exist. Well, that was not exactly the most politic thing to have said. And we know that the Mossad have information on the felon relative to the e-files, if you get my drift. And I just want to know, what's the next thing that will happen in terms of that dynamic, that relationship. So I'm just going to let Spirit pick all the cards. Again, the agreement has fallen apart. I will say, too, that of course Israel was not consulted about this deal. So, Israel's mad about that. Um, let's see what is the next thing to happen. Okay. Letting Spirit pick all the cards, which means that whatever ends up in the center will be interesting. Interesting. So we have the ring, we have the bear, we have the garden, we have the stork, and we have the bouquet. I mean, Those last two cards are very good. Again, I think this is sort of back to the drawing board, back to square one. Everybody was annoyed about the contents of this memorandum of agreement. There were going to be 60 days when they would hash out all the details, et cetera. But apparently the whole thing is kind of, gone up in smoke. So it's kind of like back to the drawing board. I think both Israel and the US will continue to be bellicose towards each other. I think Israel and the US will continue to be, Israel and the US will be bellicose towards each other. I think Iran and the US will as well. Um, and this is just, the felon saying my way or the highway. But, everybody is against him. All of Europe, all of the Middle East. I mean, there's nobody who is in favor of what he's trying to do because he doesn't even know what it is he's trying to do. Very interesting that we have the stork and the bouquet at the end. So I think that once they go back to the drawing board, there will have to be some retooling of this agreement. Um, and I mean, I think that's the goal, but I can see Iran saying, "No, we thought what that memorandum of agreement was great. We were willing to sign on the dotted line. So, no, we're not coming back to the drawing board." I don't know. Let's pull some clarifiers. Yeah. Okay. So I drew one clarifier on the ring. Remember, the ring is just having to go back to the drawing board, start all over again. But this is the talks being stalled. I mean, the felon signed the document apparently at Versailles. There was some trolling involved in that because well, if you look up the history of the Second World War and what was signed at Versailles by the Germans, it was a defeat. So I think it was Macron trolling the felon. The felon just said to himself, "Oh, I get to sign something at Versailles." But really, he should not have been the one signing this. Usually, the president doesn't sign until the actual pact is in order. Um, so uh, they're going to have to go back to square one, and it's going to take some time. So there will be delays. The felon has to deal with everybody in his government and the world governments because everybody's against him. And so it's him against all the governments of the world. The garden is the people everywhere. Clarifiers are the heart, the child, and the book. And of course, if this is all of us all over the world, how we get to this new place of feeling good about everything, nobody knows. Well, as long as he's in charge, we won't be there. And he doesn't know how to win back the affection of his MAGA base or of the world. No, did he have the affection of the world? I don't know. He had certain allies. We'll talk about that in a second. But he's just he cannot help but put a foot wrong every forward pace that he takes. The stork clarifiers are the young woman, the mice, and crossroads. I'll tell you what, I think this speaks to the e-files. I know he's terrified about more coming out. There is compromising material that certainly Putin has on him, and I think that Israel has on him as well. Um, so he's scared about that. And so he's going to have to do the taco dance, which I mentioned in my Substack was going to happen with this agreement. And he's going to have to go a different way. That agreement's going to get thrown out. The bouquet is our fifth card, and the bouquet is like an award, a reward. I mean, this is a beautiful card, but the clarifiers are the scythe, the tree, and then the house. The scythe here does not feel like it's reaping. It feels very much like it's cutting. So I guess he thought, he'd sign this agreement and then in 60 days, the Nobel Committee would reconsider him, but that's not going to happen. It's going to take a long, long, long time. That's the tree. I don't think he will reap any reward. This is also the card for health, and I think his health continues to be compromised. Um, we have the house, and I can mirror it with the ring. It's just the same mistakes over and over and over and over again. Like the green algae in the reflecting pool. Um, Everything that he does has to be redone over and over and over and over again. So I don't think that a peace deal is in the offing. I don't think just, he doesn't know what he's doing, nor do the people that he has negotiating for us. Um, he's just on the back foot, which means he's put the United States on the back foot. So we'll have to wait and see. He when he was in Europe, he did a presser with some outlet, and he said about Giorgia Meloni, who is the head of Italy's government, he said she begged to have a picture taken with him. Now, she is young, she's blonde, he thinks she's very attractive. And of course, he thinks everyone wants him that way. And she was annoyed enough that she got on social media and did a video and said, I don't know why he lies like this. This is not the first time that he's done it. I don't know why he treats his allies worse than he treats his enemies. No good can come of this. There were supposed to have been some high-level meetings between the Italians and us, and the Italians canceled their trip over this. And he behaved like the buffoon he is at the G7, and all of Europe is now more than side-eyeing him. It's pretty bad. Uh, I guess what I want to do, well, I don't even want to look. I don't think that any of these relationships with other countries are going to be recalibrated until he's no longer in power. So, Vance. Vance, of course, is being thrown under the bus. Vance is also someone who was against the war from the beginning. And that made the felon really angry, and that's why he's put Vance in this really awkward position of having to negotiate a peace for a war that he didn't believe in the first place. So let's just see how Vance is feeling. I know I just looked at him, but I want to look at him in the context of this question. Um, he was supposed to go to Switzerland to sign the memorandum of intent or agreement or whatever it is, and the trip was canceled. So how is he doing? We'll use the younger man for him. And here he is right here. So because it's the second card, it's not going to be the center card. So it's going to be the second card. And then whatever's in this up, see? Okay. So here's the felon. bullying him, he doesn't know what to do. And in my last reading for him, I saw that he's trying to figure out, his book tour is a bust. The ladies of the View skewered him. The book uh, is not being very well received. He doesn't know what to do. Um, this is People, and this is Clover. I think he's feeling like he needs a lucky break. Maybe he thought his book would be the lucky break. Maybe he hoped the peace accord would go through and that would be his lucky break. But I think wishing for a lucky break is kind of a weak response to the things that are facing him. So let's look at that Clover. So Clover and the clarifiers are again the ring and the mountain and the moon. He really hoped that he'd have sort of a renaissance as a result of this book tour. Meanwhile, he stole the title of the book from Bell Hooks, black author, but okay. He thought this would be um, good for his image, but he goes around and he ends up right back where he was, which is people feeling like they don't know him and they don't like what they see. So this is a barrier, a block. And this is how he wants to be perceived, but people don't perceive him that way. I think his friend Peter Thiel has thrown him over, um, having sort of backed the wrong horse there. And I think Peter Thiel is going to give up on that whole uh, plan to have Vance be his puppet. And I think Vance is really at loose ends, turning points falling apart. Uh, the new baby's almost here, his and Usha's. And I think he doesn't know what to do. There's an expression that comes to mind, but it's not YouTube friendly, but I'll try to make it YouTube friendly. My mother would say, he doesn't know whether to poop or go blind. So he really doesn't know what to do. Todd Blanche, I just want to look at him quickly. Um, So Todd Blanche, we know, is the felon's pick for AG. He's the acting AG, but the felon wants to advance him to get the job permanently. But that means that he has to be confirmed. And of course, he has been embroiled and enmeshed in the whole e-files thing. He's the one who went and interviewed Ghislaine Maxwell at the prison in Florida. And then next thing you know, or in Texas, and next thing you know, oh yeah, in Florida. And next thing you know, she's sent to the Cushy camp in um, in Florida or Texas. You know what I mean? I think she started out in Florida and they moved her to Texas. Um, and there's a lot that will come out about that in the Haberman Swan book. But the latest on Todd Blanche is, if you recall, he went before the congressional committee and he said that the felons billions of dollars in slush fund money. Remember, this was the money that he was going to take as a consolation prize and then dole out to supporters of his who have been wronged, like the January 6th felons. And so, out of his mouth, in front of the committee, Todd Blanche had said, um, "Yeah, that's dead in the water. We're not going to pursue that." And he was asked by the committee members, well, can we have that in writing? And he's like, oh, yeah, no, yeah, not yet. No, I'm not. Well, they insisted on it in writing. A judge insisted on it in writing, and Blanche has refused. Now, what does that tell you? If somebody promises something, but then they refuse to put their promise in writing, are they planning to keep that promise? Probably not, right? So this is causing him to be side-eyed by a lot of people, not the least of which are some very influential Republicans. So what I want to look at with Todd Blanche is I want to see if he will in fact be confirmed as AG. If he's not confirmed as AG, he can continue as AG for a certain number of days. But then after that, he can't be AG anymore. And once he's no longer AG, the felon will not have that backing. And we know that Blanche, as the felon's former defense attorney, will do anything for him. Anything, anything. So I think his nomination could be in trouble, and I just want to look at him. So we'll use the older man from him. He's not old, but whatever. We're going to use him for Blanche. I'm sure Blanche feels like he's aging by the minute. So we're looking for the older man, and that will stand for Todd Blanche. And we're looking at his confirmation. Okay, so this is him. Okay, so we have the moon, we have the letter, we have Todd Blanche, we have the house, and we have crossroads. So this is his reputation, and these are the votes for or against him in the Congress. He's in the center. This is the White House, who will try to lobby on his behalf. It's a little hard to do given his refusal to put in writing the slush fund money thing. So it looks like Congress will say no, and the felon will have to figure it out another way. He'll have to pick somebody else. Now, I also pulled clarifiers on Blanche himself, and the clarifiers are the mountain, the bear, and the ship. So Blanche's nomination will be blocked. His confirmation, I mean, will be blocked. And the felon will have to figure it out some other way. That ship will have sailed. There's nothing he can do. If he can't get the votes to confirm Blanche, that's it. So this house of cards is really starting to fall apart in a big way, which is great. The Haberman Swan, Jonathan Swan and Maggie Haberman, that book will come out, I think, next week. I got it on Audible since I have Audible credits, so I'll listen to it while I knit. But there are all kinds of revelations in there about the felon, that and none of them are complimentary or positive in any way. So his star is falling. It's not rising, that's for sure. I think that's it for today. I may go on to Substack tomorrow and do some free readings. And I think maybe I'll let you ask whatever you want. You just have to be a subscriber. That's it. So you can subscribe and then unsubscribe if you want. Not a subscriber here, a subscriber to my Substack, which is free. Just go to substack.com, look for my name or look for In the Company of Cards. And I'm going to pop up, I think, at some point during the day tomorrow, and I will do an hour of free readings. It'll be a Juneteenth gift. How about that? Thanks to everybody who watched the video last night or Wednesday night that Lena and I did. It was quite interesting, and you all were great. And I read all the comments. I appreciate all of you. Appreciate the support. So like, share, subscribe. I know this was brief, but girls got things to do, and just wanted to say hey and happy Juneteenth. And I will see everybody. Either tomorrow here for what I normally do, or else over on Substack for the free readings. I'll put a note on the community page if I decide to do the free readings over on Substack, and that way you'll have the heads up. All right, everybody, have a great Friday night. Take care.